Welcome back to SJU Radio, WSJU Radio to be exact. I'm Rafique Louison alongside my pal Ryan Walker. For those of you that listen to Nothing But That Sports Talk, you probably already seen him on a couple times. He has his own podcast, Wavy World, and he's involved with H2O's Ball for Please brand. And not to mention, he's all over the summer basketball circuit. Welcome back to the show, or welcome to the show for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is first time at the show, man. This is great, man. Rafique, I appreciate you. I love you so much, man. You're my brother. You're my brother, man. We met. We'll get into that later on how we met, but this is so beautiful, just to be here at St. John's, one of the most illustrious universities in the city and state and New York and the world. So happy to be here. I'm nobody. I'm in the presence of you going for your doctorate. To say that again. You're going
PhD to be exact.
PhD status. Graduate of LIU, Fordham University, your master's, and in the process, it's not a process, it's going to get done in about $1.50 for you to get your doctorate in it. And you're my brother, I love you. We how many projects, how many stuff we do together, and this is just so illustrious to be here right now. And there's nothing else I can say. I'm just so happy to be here, and God bless you. And everybody gonna figure out everything after that Wavy World. They know about that, but we'll get into that more. We're at St. John's.
Yeah, exactly.
East,
yeah,
and nothing but the sports talk with Rafique Louison. We're gonna lock in. Rafique, take
yeah, exactly. For those of you that are not able to listen to the show, you can catch on Nothing But The Sports Talk YouTube channel. There'll be audio recorded. I'm gonna have it on publication for those of y'all to see. And you can check it out. And then don't forget to check out Wavy's World Podcast they own, and you'll catch him at some basketball scenery soon. He'll keep tapping on all his latest up-and-coming appearances in summer basketball. But getting back to the point, for those of you that don't know about you at WSJU, let's give a little small intro about yourself.
Yeah, I'll try to make it to the best of my ability. My name is Ryan Walker. To the MC name, to everybody in New York, part of New York City and State. I'm Wavy Walker. My man J. Red, Jonathan Dalius, put the Wavy on me with that name. A couple of years back, we were these big fans of Max B. And Max B used to always say Wavy, and Max B will be out of the penitentiary in a month soon. I wish I could get him on my show and podcast, but the whole Wavy name and the whole Wavy atmosphere came from Max B. And I was so enamored with him as an MC. What he would do as an MC and the messages. And it's so crazy. My best friend Jonathan Dalius, J. Red, I always shout him out on podcasts and different platforms. He doesn't do YouTube, everything on his Facebook, but I'll make sure I get to him. But he was the one that bestowed me the name. He's like, yo, Wavy, you Wavy Walker. And I think it just clicked because like Max B used to always say Wavy, and my last name was Walker, and the W's was there, and it just clicked. And ever since. But I always loved his music and his passion. Like I do my podcast, and when I do my podcast after it, I say that his terminology, ow, he always says that terminology. Max B was very influential to me. You know what I'm saying? People that was influential. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, a lot of guys that were so influential to me. There's a lot of terminologies that I use that I learned from them, we don't engage in war, we elope. That's from Sean Carter, milk and cookies for rookies, coffees and donuts for grown-ups. That's from Beanie Siegel. That's always that, that rock. And so I always want to give them their credit, what I'm saying? It's not like something, they probably, heard it and got it from somewhere else per se, but they made those terminologies. So then there's many other terminologies and my one-line cliches that I learned from those gentlemen and those guys. But just in general, it's just so great to be here. It's such a beautiful studio ambiance. It's such a beautiful campus here at St. John's. It's always great to be here, and it's great to be in the presence of my guy that I brag about you all the time. You don't even understand it. Like it's I don't want to say that the way, but a lot of people in our culture and our community might not understand how many people you got going for their doctorates. And what you're doing is just, it's not unprecedented because many people have done it. But to see somebody locally doing what you're doing, and you went to so many illustrious universities to get the LIU, the 4 years, and then to go to Fordham. I can't even spell Fordham. To go get a Fordham and get that master's there, and now be in a position to get your doctorate, which is going to happen, and then just make sure once you do that, I have to be there to walk across the aisle, definitely beat you and be in the stands. But it's just so beautiful how we met a couple years ago.
Several years ago, to be exact.
Several years now. Was that like 2019 to 2018?
Mm-hmm.
At the Barclays Center, just on a humbug, and I think at that time, like I was such a not a fan or a scout, but like I was part of the game and a heckler, and I've been a part of the community. I was raised in Dykeman. My parents are of Jamaican descent. Raised in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I didn't get to the United States of America till I was about 4 to 5 years old. And the first place that I got to when I was 4 or 5 years old in the United States of America was Harlem. I was living on 103rd, 104th Street, and damn near Pleasant Avenue, and down the block from Manhattan Center. And this is where Cameron, Giles, Cam, Mace, a lot of guys went to Manhattan Center. And, at that time, Harlem was a very difficult neighborhood. And it was very difficult to go through it. This is the 1980s, late 1980s, 1990s. Learned a lot there, but I only spent a few months there. And then after that, I went to Dykeman. And that was my whole origin from going to Dykeman. It was a different culture shock. I'm a black kid with Jamaican parents coming from Canada. So multicultural in Toronto. But Toronto, that's what I tell people too. They're like, oh, you're from Canada, Toronto. I said, it depends on where you are in Canada, because Toronto has a strong influx of African American community on top of West Indian community. So there's a lot of Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bayesians, Haitians, of course, with the French influence, of course, definitely being in Toronto, Canada. And when my mother didn't want to do that and send no more, and my real father didn't work out no more, she said, you know what, I'm going to come to America. My stepfather and my real mother had a relationship from before. So they had my 3 sisters, Pat, Tracy, and Keisha. And I came later on, but not through my stepfather. I came through my real father, and so on and so forth. But that's a whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And with that whole ambiance, that's how I now got to the United States of America. So my mother left from Toronto when I was 4 years old, young pup, and we got to America, and eventually she married my stepfather. Rest in peace. So I love him like cook food. So with that allegiance, now my father was working in the building in Dykeman on 141/45 Nagel Avenue. So all my peoples my family that they from there, they understand the struggle and what we had to be through and go through at Uptown. And after all that allegiance, now my father, in like a couple months, became not the apprentice, he became the superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
And with him becoming the superintendent, that changed so much with my lifestyle and my family. So now things were a little bit different economically. So we were hood rich. You know what I'm saying? Like we were in the hood and we were good per se, but like we were hood rich. So like all the struggles that people had, we had the struggles, but it was a little different because like my father was a superintendent, so we didn't have to pay cable. We didn't have to pay light, rent, and so on other things because it was taken care of because we were taking care of the building. And during those times, during those times, it was great times living in Dykeman. I actually got to, I was there, Kenny Stevens. And his uncle was Coach Cal. Sharon Bonda came a little bit later, but at young ages at Dykeman when he was going through, and my guy Chico, shout out to my guy Chico, and his son, rest in peace, his soul, he passed away a couple of years ago from brain cancer. I played with Chico in tournaments in Harlem, but Coach Chico, he got around me from the early years at YBL, and I couldn't shoot it. I was like a marginal shooter, but I was a defender and I was intense. And he would always keep me on the court. And I loved Chico because he knew I used to play hard and pause and defend on the court. And that was my first opportunities. And I kept working on my jump shot and my form after a while. And we got into different realms. But I love Coach Chico. If he hears this anywhere, we got to send it to him. Chico would take me to EBC at Rucker. He would take me to Tri-State. He would take me to Watson. Even if I wasn't at the talent level, he would put me out there and let me learn and get exposed. And that's why I still love him to this day. And that was the whole experience with that basketball. Like I played 847 league, all of those leagues before they got abolished. You know what I'm saying? And it was so great to be a Dykeman and to get that experience and learn what was going on there. And the rest has been history, in some sense after that. So it's so great. And me and you met, Rafique. Like me and you met when I started. I was such a heckler, and I used to go to every other tournament. Like when I had the time and everything. See, now I got my children. I got 2 young ones. When I had my son, it was different, but I have more younger children and responsibilities and work. So I had more of the time. I was going to every other tournament. Like in the summertime, you can't meet, like, a lot of people want to talk about it, but you can't meet a lot of people like me. Like I was going to 5-6 different tournaments in the summertime in many different boroughs. Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens.
You were all over the place.
Trained without a car. And I was a part of many different tournaments. And, getting in contact and in tune with the right people. So now they love and respect me. And I knew about the game of basketball. And that opened up everything else. So I was just happy to be in those positions to do that. And God is great. Like just think about if I wasn't so much of a connoisseur, we might not have met a few years ago at the Barclays. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. All it took was me showing up to Dykeman one time, and I was literally just started covering offensive person for my own platform. All it took is that 1 or 2 times to open more doors, and I kind of learned this when I was a part of the Sports Management Women's Sports Association meetings earlier today. All it takes is that one conversation, and it can lead to a lot more, and it can lead to this.
Yeah, and it can lead to so much, and me and you clicked, and we got a great synergy, and we was doing so much shows, and we did like 1 and 2, and boy, the Lord hit us with COVID. And COVID came in, and we had to take a little tilt.
Do everything virtual.
Shows in the car, and this whole Zoom thing came about. And then once you told me about the Zoom, and we do Zoom, and we started making shows. We took it to a different level after that, but it took a lot of people to believe. It took a lot of people. A lot of people didn't believe in Rafique Louison. A lot of people didn't believe in Ryan Wavy Walker, and we had to keep doing our work and keep doing what we do. And they might not believe now, you know what I'm saying? But the only thing they can believe is that my guy Rafique is about to get his master's and doctorate, not even master's, pardon me, his doctorate at St. John's. Okay? And Wavy Walker is one of the top announcers for basketball in New York City and state. On top of, I have my own podcast with Wavy World, and shout out to H2O, Haran Hargrave, and Thomas, my guys, for believing in me, for even giving a vision. I never came to them. I never asked for them. I just kept doing what I do. I guess they see my talent with certain things, and now we have this podcast with Wavy World. So go on YouTube and please subscribe, please. Wavy World on the podcast. We have a lot of great basketball sport, and it's not just basketball. It's sports and it's culture, and that's why we're here on this show today at St. John's, because of course it's about all the sports at St. John's, but it's about the culture. And I was in the lobby right now watching all the great highlights of St. John's games in Providence, and I'm walking through the whole campus, and I'm looking at the lacrosse things and the soccer things. I'm very sad that St. John's football is not here no more. I remember when St. John's football died. Rafique, you're too young to remember that, but I remember the last years of St. John's football, because I had a couple guys that was playing football there and had to go to other programs. But this is what we're here for, man. It's Wavy World Pod. It's nothing but the sports talk. We're going to keep working, and we're going to keep grinding, and we got a lot of things to talk about with professional sports and everything there. So I'm going to let Rafique, I'm doing a lot of talking. Listen, Wavy Walker, Ryan Walker, born in Toronto, Canada, parents from Jamaica. I got my own podcast, Wavy World. I do basketball announcing. Graduated from Cheney University of Pennsylvania, the oldest HBCU in the nation. And it's just great to be here today, man. This is a phenomenal day.
Yeah, great to have you here after all the times you've been nothing but that sports talk. And yeah, we're going to continue doing that. But for now, we got this interview going on. And obviously, like I said, please subscribe to Wavy World Podcast. The growth will be real when you do. Anyway.
We got a lot of guys, Rafique. We had Leaky Roof on there. We had White the announcer. We had Slim the announcer. We had Sean from Strong Arm Ballers. We had Matt, the head coach from Strong Arm Ballers. Corey Stone from Strong Arm Ballers. We had so many different guys. Queen Nat, Natalie Perez. We've had, and everything that we're doing, Rafique, and you love that because you're so infrastructural. Like, this is business and corporate people that can help them. It's not corporate people that's just like going by the books. Like, we learn the books as Black, Latin, and African Americans in every culture to figure out how to help our people. And I was walking on the campus today, and I was just seeing how great it was and how we made so many strides. It's so great when I see Rafique at Barclays and doing so many other things. Got to be at. Rafique's seen the same thing with me. Like, I was just doing 1 or 2 tournaments. Like, now I got to turn my phone off. I got to turn my phone off not to get a booking. You know what I'm saying? And like Broadway Park, we got a championship this weekend, and eventually, I talked to my guys at King. I'm waiting for them to get out the baseline banter, the guys, to go on, of course, my Wavy World show. But it's just like, I got a lot of people that's lined up for what we do, and it's just great work, man. It's just great work. Talk to me.
Yeah, just definitely great work. Okay, now we got the introduction out the way. I'm about to make my rant on something while we're talking about things happening at the Barclays Center, it's time for us to make our rants. Well, not really a rant, because we know there's still a possibility that we can get out the gutter, but it comes from a certain WNBA champion, and they got spanked around. What was that? What was that, Liberty? What was that?
I don't know, but big shout out Cheney University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater.
Yeah, shout out to
I never can do this without y'all. Cheney University, my alma mater, leadership, public service. downtown my high school. But you know what? We love our Liberty, and I love the Liberty as well too. I was very disappointed in their performance.
Yeah, disappointing. I mean, after a promising first quarter where they were tied at 25, the offense is just not there. Not enough. The defense was just so passive, especially with Alyssa Thomas getting to rim. Kalia Copper got some touches. Asatu Sabi had to be held to only 9 points. She finally showed herself, and yeah, the Liberty are literally on the brink of elimination.
Well, here goes the thing. The Liberty, I want them to win back-to-back, and they can. They have the talent to win back-to-back, and the Tasha Cloud has been amazing. I'm concerned about that Stewart injury. What do you think about that? Before I ask you, because you're interviewing me, but the Stewart injury is very key. She's been playing banged up actually all year, quietly. But Rafique, I don't know, man. That's why I was concerned about the first game, because I thought they got back into the mode. Winning the championship and getting back into a championship mode vibe is very difficult. I thought they figured it out after game one, but the Bree injury, and bro, we lost by 26 points. What is it, 86-60?
Yes, you're correct. 86-60. That was so rough. We lost by 26
points. 86-60. Sabrina didn't play well. Nobody in the Liberty played well. And I guess the sense of urgency was more important for Phoenix, because they know, like, listen, they're ready to close us out. We got to do this right now without Bree there to an injury. So, oh my God, they're in a tough situation right now, because the Liberty can go home.
Yeah, they could go home.
They're back in Phoenix.
Literally, they can.
And I don't have. They're a good team. I don't know what's going on with Bree with the ankle, so we got to see that too. They can play to their ability. Of course, they can win this game and go on, but it's always very difficult. It's very tough in this format for the first round to win 2 games in a road team, especially when you stole the road game and now you have the home game to relinquish. So I don't know. The Liberty could go home next game, Pat.
Yeah, they can. They can
go home. And I'm very nervous about that. I know me and you are both very nervous about that, because Rafique, Phoenix is very good, and we know about Mrs. Copper and the other guys. They can play, and they're home now. Even the first Liberty game against Phoenix at home, it was a back-and-forth contest. Phoenix could have won that basketball game. And now I'm very nervous. It's going to take a huge performance by Sabrina and Mrs. Jones. I can't expect Stewie to be... We need a big performance by Stewie, but she just came off the ankle injury. So what can we say, right? Sabrina and Joan, they need a big performance, because otherwise we're going home.
Yeah, we're going home, because it's like the whole, when I watched that whole offensive effort by Liberty, the way they played, especially when the only player to score double figures happens to be Emma Misa coming off the bench.
We were terrible.
It's almost like watching paint dry.
We were terrible last game.
You would have think watching a regular season game the way Liberty are playing at home. I mean, we went from feel like Game 5 of last year's Files to feel like we're watching a glorified G League play. That's how they played like last night.
Well,
they played like a G League.
I was very ashamed.
They just show ashamed. I mean, the Liberty. Let's just call it the way it is. At least up until now, the Liberty have underachieved after start off 9-0 and the 6-2 homestand in the month of July. The offense is just not there. Literally not there. It's just the way it is. It's just not enough in order to actually win. The Liberty have to get it together. This is Rafique Louison alongside my special guest Ryan Walker at WSJU Radio. We'll be right back.
Use the bathroom. Come on.
No problem, sir. Turn on button back. On button. On button at mic 4. Yeah, we are back at it again with WSJU Radio. Rafique Louison alongside Ryan Walker. And yeah, we're obviously, the last we left off, we were talking about the New York Liberty and how they were showing no offensive effort. I mean, they're literally underachieved. Let's say the way it is.
We talked about championship. Once you win a championship in any type of sport, the hangover effect is so is so key. I think the Liberty had a little bit of hangover effect. I don't want to keep keying on that because Rafique's gonna kill me all the time. But Anija Lane, I really miss her. I don't care what it was for anything. I really miss Anija Laney. And Natasha Cloud has been so amazing. But could you imagine if we could have had Natasha Cloud and Laney?
They would be unstoppable. And that only happened if they were it wasn't that it wouldn't have as many losses coming to the playoffs as it wouldn't be a middle seeded team if that were the case.
I hope next year, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, let's work it out, Liberty. Bring Laney back, please. I know whatever happened, malice. But like next year, let's step in a room. All cooler heads prevail. Bring her back. There's no excuse. They have enough ladies on the court. Even with Stewart playing banged up, you know what? Even with Stewart playing banged up, it's a college campus. They play like crap.
Yeah,
everyone of them played like crap yesterday.
Exactly. It doesn't even know that Jonquil Jones, who had 13 rebounds, is like pretty much the only thing good about them on the defensive end.
I think they only had 2 players above double digits, if not one.
Actually, only one. Emma Meeseman, 11 points. That's pretty much it.
That's not gonna in a closeout game. I don't care how undermanned you are. You have to come out with a different intensity.
And Sabrina Nesco only made 2 free throws after missing the first 4. And that's not how they usually play.
They didn't perform to their highest level, and it clearly showed to yesterday. And now they have a big game in Phoenix to try to defend their title. Las Vegas had a great performance. They showed what they had to do. Asia was amazing. Everybody's gunning for our title. We're not a guaranteed win everything, especially with the Laney situation. And we do have a lot of key players, but we had injuries here and there, like Stewie was down a little bit. Now Stewie's down. We had Sabrina, who just came back. I mean, they got and that's what I hate with the Liberty. Like every New York team, they always got to struggle so much to get prosperity. But it's do or die if they want to advance to the next round. Because I know the other teams are certainly waiting as Vegas advanced. Correct?
Nah, Vegas didn't advance. Unfortunately, Vegas, they kind of had a meltdown against the Seattle Storm, so they're going to be playing in Game 3 as well. Seattle Storm pulled off.
What's the status of Minnesota?
Minnesota, they swept the Minnesota Vikings as we expected, as we talked about. Nothing but that sports talk. They were down by like 20. They were down 45-28, but obviously the Minnesota Lynx, they literally bounced back in what was literally a toughest crowd down in San Diego or San Jose. I mean, they couldn't play a chase center because of concerts going on, but the Valkyries let them get away. But you know what? They're a new team. I didn't really expect much from the Golden State Valkyries anyway, because they're pretty new. Not just new roster, but a new franchise. You don't expect them to make the postseason. Nobody predicted the Minnesota Valkyries to make the postseason. Nobody.
Absolutely.
They exceed expectations in making a postseason. And shout out to the kid, the coach for being coach of the year.
100%. And listen, the WNBA playoffs is heating up, and hopefully the Liberty can advance. But there's a lot of good teams there, so we'll see how that goes. And matriculate. But listen, at least we were a part of seeing them win that first title from all the years of just, either disappointment or certain things came from there. And they did that, and we'll go one game at a time. So hopefully the Liberty take care of their business because New York is definitely supporting them and on their back. And we'll go from there, man. How about this MLB playoffs? How about baseball? What's going on here?
Yeah,
what's a lot of St. John's baseball in general, and you're getting savvy with that. What do you think about the MLB game?
Yeah, baseball, obviously, we know the New York Mets, they bounced back from losing last night and got a big afternoon win against San Diego Padres 6-1. And Pete Alonso, 4 home runs in the span of 3 games. Right? Yeah, Pete Alonso, 4 home runs in the past 3 games. How about that? He's surging, and the Mets need to. I mean, literally 3 teams, the Cincinnati Reds and the San Francisco Giants, Arizona Diamondbacks, they're all breathing down their necks towards the final wildcard spot. So this series was important for the New York Mets. They may not get better playoff position, but they can at least hold on to teams behind them. And Juan Soto, he's literally trying to get to 50 home runs as well. We saw Shohei Ohtani have another 50-50 line, only this time 50 home runs and 50 strikes. So, yeah, the offense is going to get heavy with the New York Mets.
Well, he's not going to get to no 50 home runs.
He may not, but at the very least,
he'll keep
consistency. Yeah. Well, Pete Alonso has like 36, and Pete Alonso has like 36 home runs, but Juan Soto, he has 41.
He's 9 bombs. And you know what? Let me tell you something, man. Well, I can tell you, man, I don't want to go there. I'm a Yankees fan, so you already know how I go already. But, listen, Juan Soto's a generational hitter. At one point, he was a generational talent. I don't think he's a generational talent no more. I think he's a generational hitter. But, he's doing great things. 30 stolen bases, tops, 30 home runs, tops. I'm going up there. But, we'll see. The Mets are on, like I told my coworker, I said the Mets are on a razor blade going down the alcohol river. So it's glad they got a win today because Cincinnati is on their behind. Pause. Who's all the wild card teams on their back?
Yeah, like I told you before, the Arizona Diamondbacks are behind the Mets by 2 games. Yep. They got the Cincinnati Reds and Giants that are behind them by 2.5. The Cardinals are up by 5 games. They're not catching the New York Mets. That's done. And don't even get me started on the Miami Marlins and Atlanta Braves. They're done as well.
Yeah, they're done. I don't think any one of the New York teams are going to make a big run.
Not really. Well, the Yankees have a better chance.
We do have a better chance, but, I mean, the Yankees, let me tell you something. We have a good ball club. What it is that the Yankees offensively, if they're not hitting home runs, we're usually offensively inept. And it's crazy because we have speed on the base pads. We have Jazz Chisholm, who's got a lot of speed, Dillinger, Jason Dominguez. We got a lot of guys that we can disrupt the base pads with the speed, but you have to get on base.
You have
to disrupt it with speed. And for the most part, the Yankees this year, all their wins and in the last few years is matriculated to home runs. If they're not hitting home runs, I don't know what it is. It's been very interesting and tough, frustrating year for both teams. And if we get hot and we're hitting home runs, we can beat any team in baseball because we definitely have the pitching with Max Fried, who's an ace. Carlos Rondon has been having a very great year. Luis Gil has come in and we have Cam Schittler, our young kid. And think about this. Garrett Cole is not going to play till next year. So when the Yankees next year have Max Fried, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rondon as the 3rd, and Luis Gil as the 4th, we're going to be talking a whole different ballgame. But they still have a lot of opportunities to do what they're doing right now. And we'll see. Both teams got to figure it out. The Mets have to stay that course because there's only 10 games left. And if the Mets go into another falter again, like you said, Cincinnati, Who else? There's a couple teams right on their ass.
Arizona Diamondbacks, San Francisco Giants,
San
and the
Francisco,
Giants.
they're right there.
They're right there.
And for the payroll that they have, when you have a player that's making $760 million, $810 million, because he chose the extra $50 million to stay there rather than stay with the New York Yankees. These are a lot of questions that are going to be answered. And you know what? That's why I said, like, things are always different as a microcosm for a Yankees and a Mets fan. If the Yankees would have had a player that was paid $760 million and been in the last playoff spot, it would have been the biggest conversation in the world. And we're looking at the Mets, who are playing with no energy, very lethargic, an anemic pitching staff. And Juan Soto is great. 41 home runs, 30-plus stolen bases. Francisco Lindor and all those guys are doing good. But they're the last playoff seed. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Mets have the highest payroll in baseball.
Yeah, they do.
If the Yankees would have had the highest payroll in baseball,
and they play like this, it would never be the end of the conversation.
It would never be the end of the conversation. And Patrick, Crash Brother, that's why the other day, me and him, last Saturday, we actually went to breakfast and we sat down and we were talking. I let him talk for 20 minutes before he going in. And I said, you know what? Everything that you said about all the points you talked about why the Mets are not doing well. Oh, we don't have no pitching. That's your manager's fault. He spent $760 million on a hitter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you told me about the pitching prospect Senga a few years ago. Oh, you missed out on Senga. The Yankees could have had him. He's a disappointment now. There's a lot of guys that's disappointment. You a few years ago, Edwin Diaz. Oh, purple, McDonald's person. Oh, music a lot. Edwin Diaz is trash. He came off Tommy John surgery, and he hasn't lived up to his money. God bless him. I don't want to say he's trash. Let me change my words. He hasn't played to his potential, right? So that's why I always laugh when I hear certain things, because I love Mets fans. Mets fans give you excuses and want you to accept the excuses when they're not good. Yankees fans don't get that same thing.
They don't.
They give us that and say, oh, this didn't work. Like, do we have Juan Soto? No. The Yankees' record is better than the Mets' record. And then Patrick tried to say to me, you know what he tried to tell me? Oh, the American League is weaker than the National League. I said, stop it.
Wow.
And then on top of it,
really?
he tried to say that, no, it wasn't the American League, National League thing. He tried to say some things of the realms like, it was just something in the realms like leaning towards the National League is more difficult. And I said, no, that's what he said. He said, the Yankees, and that's what I love. I love with Patrick and Crash Brothers, because Mets fans who are delusional and biased always find out every excuse on why it should work a certain way. When the Yankees had the highest payroll, Crash Brother used to always talk to me about, you spent the most money, you're not doing nothing, and you just nothing. Who has the highest payroll in baseball this year?
The Mets. Yeah, clearly it's the New York Mets.
So, you got the highest payroll in baseball with the highest paid player in baseball, right? I'm not saying it's the best player, because the best player in baseball is Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. And then Ohtani. So, you got the highest paid player in baseball, and you guys are the last seed in postseason at this date. And you always talk to me about certain dynamics that just don't make sense.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Because you have the highest payroll doesn't mean you're going to have the best team. That's what I try to explain to him, because the Yankees many years had the highest payroll and we would not win. So at the end of the day, having the highest payroll, how many years had the Knicks had the highest payroll? I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, too many. And you know what? To continue talking about the payroll, the Mets had now that for this season it goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers at $348.9 million. The Dodgers have the highest payroll, and they coming off a World Series win.
Who's after?
The New York Mets, $339.5 million, and then that's literally ahead of the Yankees at $297.9 million.
Yeah, and one of those teams are leading the division barely, and the other team is 4 games back in the division, which they won't catch. Toronto is going to win the AL East. And think about this. The Yankees were up 9 games at one point in the division, just like the Mets.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is how things go.
If we would have controlled a lot of other destinies, we would have been winning that division. So it's always my equation to say to certain people, like stop it. Like when I talked to Crash Brother the other day, and we went to IHOP together, he didn't talk to me about all the anemic things about the Mets. You know what he said?
What?
He said, Juan Soto has 39 home runs and 30 stolen bases. I said, but you're still struggling to get into the postseason. You're talking to me about all those stats. I know about Juan Soto. He's great. He was with us. But you're struggling to get into the postseason. You have no pitching. And that's the other thing that Crash Brother always does. I love him. Crash Brother is a great, loyal person.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's always going to talk about everything that's positive first before negative. Oh, we don't got pitching. But you guys stink. And if it was the Yankees on that same perspective, you would have been calling me out every day. And here goes the real reality. The Mets have underachieved.
Yeah,
and if
clearly.
The Mets don't qualify for the postseason this year,
07, 08 all over again, but worse.
They don't qualify with the highest payroll in baseball.
Second highest payroll, actually, for 2025.
The Dodgers. It's one of the biggest disappointments in baseball history, on top of what they did the other year. Because they've had years where they had the highest payroll and didn't qualify. But they would always criticize me as a Yankees fan when we didn't do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, just call it fair and call it across the board. Because if the Mets qualify for the last postseason spot or don't qualify at all, that's a disappointment.
Definitely a disappointment. Literally.
They got young kids that are trying to come there to give them pitching rotations to go what they got to do. It's a disappointment. It's not acceptable. I want all Mets fans to be the same way fair how they are with Yankee fans. It's not acceptable. And I don't care about no injuries because every team has injuries. You think the Yankees haven't had injuries? Our second best pitcher, Garrett Cole, has been out from the beginning of the season. We never had him. We lost Juan Soto, right?
Mm-hmm.
Free agency. Trent Grisham has come in and been amazing in the outfield. We never made the excuses. We lost a lot of guys. We spent money on Devin Williams, who Pete Alonso crushed as a Met and messed up his psyche. And we had him at first and the ninth, and he wasn't doing well. And we had to move him to the eighth, and now he's doing pretty well, even with his confidence being psyche. And we brought Bedard in there. We never made an excuse.
Never made any excuses.
I got my Mets fan, we don't got pitching. That's your problem. You spent $760 million on Juan Soto.
Yeah.
You got what you wanted. So the other guys had to work out. A couple years ago when they got the guy Sangha, the Asian guy, always the ace. Oh, yeah, guys missed out. Now he's a bum.
And he's playing AA right now, I believe. Yeah.
So listen, God bless the Mets. Queens Nation, don't shout at me, but let's be fair. Let's call baseball the way it's supposed to be called, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go from here. All right, now on to talking about last weekend, and I know we kind of briefly talked about it, but this will be the last topic of the show because we got other commitments in about a few minutes. Let's just try to keep it brief as possible.
As quick as possible, yep.
Yeah, the New York Giants, they gave it their all and choked big time at the last minute while the New York Jets, they played horrible against Buffalo. Which New York team will finally get their first win of the season? And I know it's unlikely, but yeah.
Week 4, none of them.
Week 3, actually.
Yeah, well, slow down. Giants will lose this week against Kansas City.
That's true.
Giants fan. And the Jets play. Who did the Jets play?
The Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, the Jets will get their. No, I don't even think so. Tampa Bay is better than them. About Tampa Bay last week?
Yeah, I can't sleep on Tampa Bay.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Tampa Bay is better.
Baker Mayfield.
He came through in the clutch last week against the Los Angeles Raiders last weekend on Monday Night Football. He came through. That was a sick last-minute touchdown that he had.
If Aaron Glenn and the Jets guys can wake up offensively, they can be the first one to break that stat. So the Jets should get their win before the Giants. You know what? The Giants actually have a chance. It's not like Kansas City's a blowaway. We know the Giants can score points. But for the mortgage, I'm not going to tell you they're going to win. So I'm going to say Kansas City with that. We talked about this, right? In the first 2 weeks. What did I pick for? I think I picked the Giants.
You picked the Giants to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. You did.
I picked them to beat the Cowboys, and that was just like.
And I was just like, and they almost got
because they haven't beat the Cowboys in 8 years.
Yeah, they struggled against the Dallas Cowboys, and now, I mean, well, I low-key think they're gonna lose this week and then win against the Los Angeles Chargers. But then again, it's not gonna be that easy.
No, I think they just have a better probability. But here goes the biggest question: both teams are not that great.
Yeah.
And Aaron Glenn, God bless him at the Jets, is gonna take him time to rebuild that. People thought it might happen. They had a chance to show it earlier with that first game, but Aaron Rodgers and them prevailed. But I don't think both their teams that great. The best team in New York State is the Buffalo Bills.
Facts.
I'm not a Bills fan. I'm a Giants fan, but I call everything like I see with the eye test. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in New York State. That's the best chance to make any type of super runs. They have a really great chance this year.
If that's going to happen, they're going to have to get through Patrick Mahomes to the Kansas City Chiefs. But every time he could look like...
You know Patrick Mahomes is always my Achilles heel. But this week is big. Like let's suppose in a crazy world the Giants beat them. And let's suppose Buffalo wins. They're giving them a lot of great chances. But I just think that Kansas City has to wake up really quick. And now, what it is too is as great as Patrick Mahomes is, the league and everybody has caught up to them. So they're not just gonna run through everybody. They're gonna work for the next couple of years to get what they gotta get through. I just think that they just have a better chance. But the Giants can win this football game. They scored 30-plus points last week. Our defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, let us down on that last drive. He plays the better defense. We win that football game. But this is the Giants, and this is why years ago when me and you picked these picks, I said, Rafique, you don't understand what I've been through with these guys, and I know what I see. And we'll just see how they bounce back. But I'll just tell you this much, Wise. Right now, my most confidence is in Liberty, the Knicks, and somewhat the Yankees. Because I know if the Yankees, I'll say it on air, if the Yankees are not hitting home runs, they can't be nobody. So we can go into a 3-week sprint where we're just hitting home runs. It can be any team in baseball. After that, I don't know. If they can't hit home runs, most of the Yankees' success is off home runs. So if they don't do that, I don't know. But Giants, forget about it. Dart probably be playing by the Saints week. I didn't want him to play early, and I'm still curious to know why. What's the backup quarter? What was supposed to be backup quarterback for the Giants?
Why is Jameis Winston
not the second pick?
Jackson Dart
as quarterback. I don't think Dart should. I don't want
Jackson
Dart
Dirt, excuse me,
to enter before Winston. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen that way. They're going to, if Russell doesn't win or struggles, and Russell did great last week.
Yeah, he put up a good performance
at the end, but he did great. But if it doesn't work out by the week, the New Orleans Saints is on the schedule because they have Kansas City. Who do they have after Kansas City? It's a tough team.
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Right? And then the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the first start for Dart. Even though I think Jameis Winston should come in at that time. But that's, I'm not a head coach.
Yeah. All we can do is just make our predictions. Yes. That'll wrap up this episode. Rafique Louison on WSJU Radio. Thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker. Looking forward to talk some more sports with you again.
Give me a second, Rafique, before you wrap it up, man. Wavy World Podcast. Please go on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment. Please just check it in for 1 or 5 seconds. It's about basketball, the sports, and the culture. So that's Wavy World on Instagram. Wavy World Podcast. We got a lot of knowledge you can get in. The H2O's been there. Thomas, Leaky Roof, Strong Arm Ballers, Matt and Corey and them, Zoe, Queen Nat, Natalie Perez. We had a lot of people on there. We got a lot of people. We got Baseline Banner, Mr. Cha-Ching, and David Teal. Jaden coming up soon. We got Speedy Williams coming up soon. We got a lot of guests that's coming up soon that you want to pay attention to. That was coming on for Team Takeover. We got so many guests that's for the culture coming up soon. Rafique itself. So please lock in with Wavy World. Go subscribe, YouTube. It takes 2 seconds to listen to and lock in. It was a pleasure to be here at St. John's, big university with my brother, me and Rafique. We started together a few years ago, man. Mm-hmm. And look, now we got our own great platforms. My guy's going for his doctorate. His doctorate, man. I got my own podcast. He's going for his doctorate. And we're continuing doing it. It's nothing but the sports talk. Wavy World Podcast, Big St. John's, Big Bone for Peace, Big NYC Lead 32. What else can we say, man?
Yeah, what else can we say? All right. For everybody listening to WSJU, for those that didn't get to listen to it, you can catch the audio recording on my YouTube channel, Nothing But That Sports Talk. Me and Ryan, we're working hard together. And yeah, have a good night and stay safe.
Locked in. Oh, man.
Yeah.
This was beautiful, man.
Well, you forgot to turn your mic off.
No?
No, off. All right.
This is beautiful.
Yeah. Nice to be back at the radio set. Nice to be back. Nice to do this in an actual radio show, huh?
Yeah, this is great, bro. This is what I'm used to now. You know what? I got my own studios in the Bronx.
So I was tied up.